Welcome to the e-resource series. In tutorial 3, we're going to improve our accuracy by learning some more subject-verb agreement rules. Let's begin with our first example sentence. Try to identify the subject and verb. In this sentence, you'll notice that the subject comes after the verb. This is because our sentence begins with the word there. So this is another rule. When sentences start with there, the subject is always placed after the verb, so it needs to be identified correctly. This causes quite a few problems with accuracy, especially in writing tasks. So let's have a look for our base subject. Here it is here. So as we can see, the base subject is solutions, which is a plural verb. So therefore, our verb needs to be plural, which it is. Let's have a look at another example sentence. Again, can you identify the subject and verb? Well, this one is interesting. You can see our full subject, but in this case, our base subject is not just one, but two. And this is because they're joined by the word and. When you have two base subjects joined by the word and, we can call this a compound subject. So here's our verb. It's in the plural form. And that's our next rule. A compound subject is two subjects which are joined by and typically it would take a plural verb. Now again, there are some exceptions to this rule, but it's a good general rule to have when you're looking at your accuracy. Our final example is in this sentence. So let's have a look at the subject and verb. Here we have our full subject. Transport is our base subject, and as we know, it's an uncountable noun. So usually when we have an uncountable noun, if we go back to tutorial 1, we learned uncountable nouns are treated as singular subjects and therefore take a singular verb. But if we look here, we can see that there's two verbs and it's not in the singular form. In fact, this is a modal verb. And when we have a modal verb, it is always followed by the infinitive form. So our next rule is that modal verbs do not have subject-verb agreement. A modal verb is always followed by the infinitive verb. Now this causes a lot of problem in academic writing because we actually use a lot of modal verbs. Modal verbs can include must, will, would, and so on. So that brings us to the end of the tutorial. We now have 3 more rules to practice, so let's take the quiz.